for Christmas.
Awesome.
So this movie's only like 12 years old.
I wish I was your friend then.
This movie's only like 12 years old, and I've had a copy of it for probably 7 or 8 years.
That's awesome.
Okay. And your story's startlingly similar to mine. I found this movie in 2002 because my friends and I at the time, we had a bit of a one-upsmanship game going on. We would raid the video stores in our town that we were in, because there were several of them back in 2002, and we had our pick, and we'd try to find the worst thing we could possibly find. Someone brought this some night as revenge for, I think, Grease 2 or something.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it was this. Yeah, that was 1 week, and then we get this, and that was
Talk
also
about
where
bringing nuclear weapons to a knife fight.
Well, you know how it is. Everything's relative, and and I'd try to blow these people away, of course, with stuff like Robot Monster or Manos, The Hands of Fate. But
this is the same crew that I got Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter because of are the ones that also are responsible for me having a copy of Curse of the Queer Wolf. So just,
Roar.
I just wanted to throw that out there.
I've never seen it.
I own a copy.
I've heard about that, but never seen it.
Also,
it's on my list.
Also, he owns a copy of Birdemic, which I'll never forget. Ever.
And I also own one called Three Mighty Men, which is also more commonly referred to as Captain America and El Santo versus Spider-Man.
I was going to say.
I have a subtitled copy.
Which is a rare and special thing all by itself. Good Lord.
It is a precious snowflake.
That's a hell of a movie.
What do you guys think of the clean-shaven, short-haired, earring-wearing Jesus?
I think he might be in violation of Old Testament law with those body piercings.
Singing and dancing.
Well, but Jesus was the representation of the New Testament, so the Old Testament doesn't apply any longer, remember?
That is a good point.
Which is about all I remember about the Bible.
However, your body
is a sizzle if I walk inside a church.
Yeah, in 2 Corinthians it says your body's a temple, right? So we should, but whatever. I think it's a choice that was probably made for the actor's comfort, and it's one of those things. It does kind of suck that Jesus is only like recognizably Jesus for about 15 minutes or so, and by the time he's just like wearing the crew T-shirts and
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Matt.
No, well, what I'm about to say is that I kind of like that because it kind of defies your expectations. I mean, you kind of expect him to have the beard and the flowing robes, but I don't know. I mean, it's unexpected.
Right?
I like it. I like it, and
they start off there and then they say, "Here's get with the program. We're moving on."
Now the singing and dancing, I don't mind. That's awesome.
I started to say earlier, I believe, I looked back at the archive for the show, I believe this is the first musical.
Is it?
Possibly.
Oh my God. Well, this is
even though it's only
musicals.
got like 2 musical numbers.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to remember. Like, we've twitflixed so many musicals. And some
unfortunately.
Like what is it? There's one movie that I feel like I could defeat everyone.
The Wiz.
The Wiz. The worst.
The Wiz.
I felt it was
like
creepy.
Somebody was taking a whiz all over Twitflix when we.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. There's a reason I didn't participate in that with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
the
was not my choice.
Speaking of Twitflix, folks, it is a wonderful, fun thing that me and Mr. Dunn here do. You can always.
It is. It's back. It's back.
It is back. Twitflix.net to look at the schedule. Jump on Twitter.
And let's see. It's April, right? It's April now. So.
Yep.
So by now, it's totally blown up.
Oh, yeah, to be
there's hundreds of people that are literally tweeting along every Wednesday night.
You should probably get a hold of us ahead of time to see if there's still spots available.
Yeah,
but that's okay. We'll try to work you in. Anyway, so
you guys are such caring, wonderful individuals.
Check it out, www.twitflix.net.
Look it up. So that's our little Twitflix bit. Thanks for bringing that up, Mike, about musicals. And yes, The Wiz was absolutely awful. This is a wonderful musical in comparison.
But you generally don't like musicals, right, Mr. McGumbo?
I do, but you know what? I like a good musical. I do actually. I love Little Shop of Horrors. What a great fun that
Let me guess. You also like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Well, I mean, who doesn't, right? I mean,
good point.
And you actually, what was that one that you picked for Twitflix? It was
Oh,
South
yes.
Park?
Circus.
Devil's Carnival.
Devil's Carnival.
Devil's Carnival. That was a musical as well.
I'm a big fan of Rico
I didn't really like
also.
that, but
And I actually own the soundtrack to that. I actually bought the soundtrack off of Amazon.
And you bought it. I thought weren't you with me when I bought it?
I had already bought it. I'd already purchased it.
Oh, that's right. I bought it when we saw it when it was here in Indy.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah. No, I am not normally a musical. I mean, I'm just not a paint your wagon kind of guy.
Yeah.
As far
No
as,
Oklahoma for anyone in this crew, I think. Well, I would compare it more towards, has everyone seen Cannibal the Musical? And loved it?
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I have. Would you call that fair, even though the two films are pretty much nothing alike?
in
No,
ways,
because
yeah.
Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter actually only has a couple of musical numbers.
The music is extremely important in this, especially for some of its like intentional inappropriateness. They like literally put. I can't even think of a good example for it, but like for whatever the situation is, like the wrong music intentionally. It's quite hilarious.
Is it the wrong music, or is it absolutely right?
Or absolutely right,
It's
right. I mean, it is
wrong and right
it's
at the
so
same time.
quirky. I mean,
Yes.
it's all just very quirky.
It is. It's like a movie from the 70s made in 2001.
And for blasphemy, it's really not as bad as you would expect.
It's not. It actually treats Jesus pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's
honest.
not. He's not like he's doing bad things.
No, and in fact,
At
this
all, by any
Jesus,
means.
I think there's more of a chance that I would probably be a follower of this Jesus than the typical Jesus that we're used to seeing. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean,
right.
I'm gonna spoil the end a little bit because there's a great message at the end, and this plays
Go
right
for
into
it.
that. The message is, don't listen to me. Listen to, go with the teachings. Don't listen to the person. Listen to the thing. Be good to each other. And I'm like, how can this crappy movie get it right when we've got, we've just elected a brand new pope, and one of the first things people pull up is gay people suck.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
right.
wonderful.
Yeah. Meet
But-
the fucking new boss.
But
Shame
this
is the
this
old-
Jesus is a big fan of the gay people.
Well,
He
one
loves
did save
them.
his life.
He's in fact such a fan that he will investigate their disappearance when his church will not. And he does have a great line like the church should learn to leave judgment to higher powers.
Yes.
And that's one of the things about this movie that really caught me is the fact that the person who made this movie, and do you have his name?
Who the director?
Do you have his
Lee,
name? Director?
the writer
Lee-
was Ian Driscoll.
Yeah, and the director was Lee Demarbre.
Sorry.
Right,
Yeah.
French.
He's French, I think, French Canadian.
No, he's Canadian. They're Canadian.
Canadian. Well, he's
French
French Canadian.
Canadian, Mom.
Canadians can be French too.
True.
You know what I mean? French Canadian. Ottawa.
Well, he looked pretty.
That, I
He
don't-
looked pretty English on the DVD extra, where they,
All right, you
they
know
catch
what?
up with all of them. No, there's a thing on the Blu-ray where they catch up with all of the stars, like Where Are
Oh,
They
yeah?
Now, and they take all of them
Oh,
bowling.
that's right.
Hey,
And
on the Blu-ray, is there a commentary?
Sadly,
I didn't
no.
look.
No,
Oh.
no,
No, and there aren't
unfortunately not.
subtitles either.
Yeah, it's
which is weird because there are on the DVD.
it's
And
entirely bare bones. It's a completely crap
Well, I mean,
it
well,
makes
no,
me a
they-
little
they
sad
could-
that I got rid of my DVD when I got the Blu-ray without having actually watched the Blu-ray first.
There wasn't enough space left available since this is in such crystal clear high def quality that they probably just didn't have room left for all the extras.
shot on 16 millimeter, and you can see
Proudly
every
shot on 16 millimeter because they put that at the very end.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was 14 millimeter.
I love it though.
No,
at the very
end, there's a title card that says "proudly shot on 16 millimeter."
I love how it looks in 16 millimeter. I love how it looks. It's so much better than movies that are made now and that are independent and they're made with digital. I mean, there's just something about the 16 millimeter that's just timeless.
all those
timeless.
little pops and cracks and
I love it.
scratches that you can see
Well,
on the.
I love
This movie's got a quaintness to it. I think the point that I really realized as we're getting into it, that I was like, this is fucking awesome, was where Jesus is like, he's out at the park and the atheist come up in the Jeep, right? This
The clown car full of
the
atheists.
the 2-door Jeep Wrangler, right? And right at the get-go, the two atheists that talk the shit to him, the smack, they say whatever, and Jesus runs off. And then 8 people jump out of the passenger door in the back of this Jeep and come start, getting down,
a kung fu fight.
Yeah, kung fu fighting with Jesus, right?
But it's sort of like it's a Matrix style kung fu fight because you got that techno music in the background.
And I have to admit, I do love the
that just
the
means it's
concept that even in the face of physical proof of the existence of God, they're still like, no, you don't exist.
and then 6 more people jump out of this Jeep. It's fucking hilarious.
And then 4 more.
And I have had a thing about Jeep Wranglers, right? Like when we did Thanksgiving, there was 5 people riding in that Jeep, and we actually talked to Ryan Francis from that movie, the nerd, right? And I asked him, I was like, was it pretty cramped back there in that back seat? Because I've been in the back seat of a Jeep Wrangler, and there ain't room enough for one person.
Is that anything like the back seat of a Volkswagen?
Like, a very uncomfortable position.
Nice reference.
Woohoo!
So anyway, Oh, 4 more. You're right. There's 4 more coming out of there. Wow.
Oh yeah, they just keep coming out of there. I mean, it's like a clown car, and it makes me happy.
Yes,
that's when I realized this was my kind of movie.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
They know exactly what they're doing here and what they have and what they're capable of and what they're not capable of, and they're gonna work with what they got.
I would compare the fighting in this movie to be it's sort of like an old school WWF style wrestling fight where it's extremely choreographed, but it's fun. I
kept looking for Dolomite to show up.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's like the worst wrestling match ever, but it's just entertaining to watch.
Yeah, they are not actually stuntmen. You can tell.
No, there are no actual stuntmen on display here, and it's not even trying. They wanted to make a really dumb, gratuitous kung fu movie about Jesus fighting vampires in like modern America, and that's what they did. They succeeded exactly. They made what is probably the best I've seen of Jesus. Fighting vampires in modern America movies. There aren't that many of them.
And I do love that they took the whole idea that, we have no money, but we want to make a vampire movie, but vampires can't go out in the sun, so how do we make a vampire movie? Oh, wait, let's make part of the movie the fact that they can go out in the sun. And that's the big mystery of the movie.
And at first I was mad at that. I'm like, oh, fucking vampires out in the sun. And then they actually mention it. And they're like, what are the vampires?
They explain it, too.
What are the vampires doing out in the sun? And I was like, all right, I'll give you that.
We're trained.
Can I just go back a second and say that their explanation for vampirism is one of the most techno-babbled but kind of awesome explanations for vampirism I've ever heard.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you so much.
A quantum infection.
Whatever that means. Just throw quantum at it. It can explain everything. And this is a way for like every kind of vampire to exist simultaneously in the same universe, relative to the observer, as Mary Magnum says repeatedly.
But it sounds like they know what they're talking about, and that leads me back to something that I was going to say before, and that's that.
Oh, sorry.
No, this was like 15 minutes ago. So I was going to say that biblically, they seem to kind of know what they're talking about. Like, it sounds like they've actually read the Bible, and they're quoting scripture. And I mean, this isn't just like let's make a silly movie about Jesus fighting vampires. I mean, this actually seems like they kind of know what they're talking about. Like, there might actually be somebody in the cast that actually goes to church, and they made a movie about it.
Well,
and might actually
except that
care.
While historical Jesus would have been a shorter guy. Historical Jesus would also have been, black and Jewish.
They make a point to say that he's short, though.
I know. I noticed that. That's why I made sure to point that out.
I think he is short, though. I've seen him.
Oh, he's definitely a shorter guy.
Yeah.
Not your typical action hero is our Phil Caracas. And even though he has the name for one. I mean, what the hell? Phil Caracas? What? Oh, man. I love that.
But I feel like the people that made this movie liked Jesus. I don't feel like it was malicious or mean in any way. I feel like I don't know. I feel like they had some sort of appreciation.
It's kind of like
Jesus.
Dogma without Kevin Smith writing the script.
Yeah. Without the extra clever dialogue.
Yeah.
Well, not like there's some extra clever dialogue.
Yeah.
and with a woman who screams for like 5 minutes in the drop-off shelter.
That was his mom.
I want
That was the mother of one of them.
Yeah, this says an IMDb.